Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Kris. This is a little different video. I don't know if this has nothing to do with this doesn't have anything to do with the video game, the Assassin's Creed game. I like playing part 3. It's the American Revolution, but this is the real Assassin's Creed, Deadliest Special Forces of the Dark Ages. This is from Chronicle Medieval History Documentaries. Sometimes I'll do a video from them and one of the parts will get blocked, so I apologize if that happens to you. We're going to break this down into 3 videos, but as you see, I clicked the thumbs up. If you could do that for me, that helps. Subscribe if you'd like to, and if you'd like to see your name sponsoring a video, all you got to do is click on the thanks button and donate to the channel, then request a video. You can also request a video without donating. It just takes a little bit longer. And you can donate without requesting anything, just say thanks. Appreciate that as well. Let's go ahead and get into the video.
They are the deadliest special forces in the medieval world. Their symbol is the dagger. Experts in disguise, masters of stealth. They strike out of nowhere.
They made themselves appear like ghosts. They would come in, stab, disappear.
Terror is their greatest weapon.
It's psychological warfare. It's about the impact that you have.
This is the story of how a tiny community takes on the most feared warlords of their day.
They were a small, marginalized, persecuted sect.
They would become a legend. The first true assassins. A 100 miles north of Jerusalem lies the port of Tyre. In the 12th century, it is a crusade.
It looks extremely modern for, 1192 or whatever. That's very impressive. I mean, they had cars. That's awesome.
Crusader stronghold. Its ruler, Conrad of Montferrat, is about to become the most powerful man in the Holy Land, the Crusader King. That night, Conrad is returning home from dinner.
He's going along a particularly narrow street. There's 2 men sat one on either side.
He believes they are monks, trusted members of his household. But Conrad is about to fall victim to the most feared Black Ops force of his time, the legendary assassins. The origins of the assassins lie hundreds of miles away from the Holy Land, in 11th century Persia, the country we now know as Iran. The Islamic world is torn apart by the age-old struggle between Sunni and Shiite Muslims. It's a division about who follows the truest Islamic tradition.
The Sunni believe that they are the rightful preservers of that tradition. They're the party of the community.
Their rivals, the Shiites, support a different tradition. that takes its authority from the Prophet Muhammad's descendants.
The followers of Ali, the son-in-law and the cousin of the Prophet, say that the imams, the political religious leaders of their faith, should descend from him.
Even today, this rivalry within Islam fuels bitter religious conflict. In a remote area of northern Persia is the mountain fortress of Alamut. It is here that a particular Shiite community, the Ismailis, takes refuge.
They were a small, marginalised, persecuted sect of Islam at a time when it was extremely unhealthy to be any of those things.
Their base is known as the Eagle's Nest.
Alamut itself is a natural fortress. It's not like a Crusader castle that's built with a tremendous amount of science, but it sits atop a natural redoubt that's 300 feet, almost like a sheer cliff. And at the bottom, you've got very deep gorges. It's very, very difficult to approach.
The leader of this small remote community is Hassan-i-Sabah, a charismatic man who demands total devotion from his followers.
One wonders if he had a rather magnetic or perhaps hypnotic personality about him as well, to draw these people to him, despite the fact that he's actually asking them to submit to a very, very harsh regime indeed.
I wonder if he's pulling people that are cast out, cast away, run away, like the, you know what I'm saying, the part of society that maybe these people didn't feel welcome in, that for whatever reason, they're born out of wedlock, or, you know, like whatever the reasons would be back then. And then you have somebody who's like, I don't care, I'll bring you in. Then you get brought in, you show devotion to this person, and this person, I'm not going to say takes advantage, but pretty much says, look, if you want to stay here, you want to do all this, this is what I need in return. Well, they've already taken you in, they've shown you love and affection, and yeah, why wouldn't you repay that? You know, but that's why I'm wondering if what he's taken in could be just regular people.
Hassan's Ismailis are facing overwhelming odds. His Sunni enemies have a vast army of 300,000 men. He will have to wage what we now call asymmetric warfare.
He's not in a position to fight back, he's not got large armies at his disposal.
To survive, Hassan has to find something he can do, even with limited manpower. Finally, he hits on a radical solution. He will decapitate his Sunni enemies by murdering their leader.
They're not going to be able to defeat him in battle, so they go in on a much narrower front. They're going to take out the man himself.
At the top of the Persian hierarchy, Nizam al-Mulk is a champion of Sunni orthodoxy.
He's basically a one-man government, and he has made it his work to root out heresy right at the center of the Persian state.
Hassan's Ismailis are one of his prime targets.
He's described them as the pus of sedition. He really thinks they should be expelled. So if Hassan picks him out and if he removes him, he really will be striking a blow against the man who is the real cheerleader against his group.
Hassan starts to train an elite squad to carry out the mission. They're chosen from his most devoted followers, the Fidayeen.
The early Fidayeen were almost certainly from that particular area of Iran. So these are tough mountain men.
Hassan begins by teaching them how to fight at close quarters.
Their actual personal skills are in many ways much higher than you find in armies today. So commandos won't be so well trained in individual hand-to-hand combat. Because they have technology, people today rely on technology. Then they had no technology, it was just them. They were the weapon.
The key question is how to make the hit, to take out their target.
They could have killed people using poison.
But the victim could take an antidote and survive.
They could have killed people using arrows or projectile weapons.
But there's always the risk of missing the vital organs.
Or just missing in general, you know. It's hard to survive when you've got a knife right in your throat that comes out the other way and they just go, you know. It's a little more difficult.
Eventually, the weapon they choose is the dagger. Striking up close, you can make sure of a kill.
A dagger gives you a greater chance of actually achieving your aim.
But using daggers in combat demands immense skill.
Throughout history, there's only 3 different types of weapons available in a dagger. You have a stabbing, you have a slashing, and you have a slashing and stabbing. Now, the first one we have is something like a stiletto. The key point about the stiletto is it's very strong, thin blade for high penetration power. So a stabbing of a stiletto goes straight through, so in and stab through. With the weapon concealed, you walk towards them, pull out, stab, walk on. The next type is a slashing blade. From here, they would just draw and slash. As you can see, in one motion, it would be very hard to even see that it happened. The third major design would be a slashing and stabbing weapon. Now, this is a modern version. So from here, it's got a sharp blade that curves. It would also have a back blade, so you can cut back if you miss. Very strong guard here. This guard allows you to stab down very heavily. So you have different options as to how you move and how to combine it.
The Ismailis' next step is familiar to today's special forces: to gather local intelligence on their target.
It's a big operation. It will require inside knowledge.
An Ismaili spy infiltrates the Sunni leader's headquarters, watching Nizam al-Mulk's every move.
How does he conduct his life? What's the best opportunity we can get? Where is there a chink in that armor?
This information is fed back to base. With a detailed profile of his target, Hassan identifies what he thinks is a weakness in al-Mulk's security. That weakness is his religion.
This is the only way he's going to actually get that close to him. And he calls on a man to represent a Sufi mystic, a holy man, an ascetic, somebody who normally one would never suspect of misdeed.
A Sufi would be seen as a man of peace.
Anybody who has an air of holiness about them is almost guaranteed a warm reception from a powerful leader of the secular state, such as Nizam al-Mulk. The opportunity to be blessed by such an individual is not to be missed.
Having worked out how to get close to him, Hassan's next problem is how to kill him. The trick is to use distraction.
The person must be distracted by an event, so you trip or you drop something, and this moment you exploit it.
The chosen killer rehearses the technique. After months of training, he is ready. Hassan's trained killer infiltrates the Sunni base. No one suspects a holy man. In the quarters of Nizam al-Mulk, there is no sense of any threat. Everything is routine.
At this time of the evening, Nizam al-Mulk is probably in high spirits.
He has finished his work for the day.
This is perfect timing for the Ismailis. He's much more difficult to actually get anywhere near during the normal working business day. So no doubt in his own mind, he's thinking of the pleasures of the evening among his women.
In the shadows, the Ismaili killer waits for the moment to strike. Al-Mulk is about to be carried off to his harem on his litter. But then, he sees the Sufi holy man approaching.
He's quite prepared to let this guy in and give him a blessing on his way.
He stabs the man, stabs Nizam al-Mulk and kills him.
The distraction has worked. Killing the leader of the Sunnis is a massive triumph for Hassan's Ismailis.
He was a great man, no two ways about it. And therefore, to take him down was a real message. If we can get him, we can get anybody. So you take on the Ismailis of Alamut at your peril.
Over the coming years,
go back a little bit. All right, we're gonna end it there. That's part one. There's gonna be a three-parter. Took months to train how to do that, but it must have happened so fast. And of course, there's no military people around, or anyone like that around, so no one's expecting that, especially from a holy person or somebody who's just wow. Okay. Well, we're going to end this here. My dog's got to go outside, so I got to let them go potty. But until then, we'll be back with part two. Until then, have a good day, have a good night.